your eyes, your hands, all of the women you shape, and those that shape you. I am Hawaii, raised kama'aina. My family goes back 4 generations here on the windward side and on Maui and Hamiki. I really don't know how my mom managed to raise 4 kids. We had a little Boston Whaler. We piled all our supplies in. First thing he made us do was hike half a mile from camp and dig a lua. So that's how we went to the bathroom for like 3 weeks. I couldn't believe my mom, she hung out with us. Every week, once a week, she would come to get home to get fresh water and more food. And she would chant. A couple times I would go with her in the car and she would chant all the way home. I can't wait to take a hot shower. I can't wait to take a hot shower. But we loved it as kids. We just had a ball. And my mother made those adventures possible. I really am thankful to have been raised in Hawaii, and I think that's one of the reasons that I'm committed to tell stories about Hawaii. My mother took us to the library once a week. My sister and I were huge readers. We would borrow our maximum amount of books every week, and we would read through them. That's really where my love of story, my love of storytelling came from, all of those trips to the library and reading all those books. I realized that, the stories of many people who live in Hawaii were not being recorded or told in mainstream media.
All right, mentally and otherwise, okay?
I really feel that women's stories are underrepresented in media. I've always been drawn to books about women, movies about women, and there just aren't enough, and definitely not enough about women in Hawaii. And so I've been privileged to learn about a lot of strong, unsung heroes in Hawaii, not just Queen Liliuokalani, but people like Bidi Kanahele Dawson, Nancy Bannock.
When the alums had first asked me to come and give them some legal guidance.
Bidi Kanahele Dawson is a modern queen. She fights for the Hawaiian people in all kinds of ways. She went to law school as an older woman in her 50s to get a law degree.
More people who know about Ho'oponopono, more people who know about self-introspection is the way to find peace throughout the world.
Nancy Bannock was a photojournalist who's really known for helping to save Honolulu's Chinatown during the urban renewal era, when they wanted to destroy practically all of it to develop.
Well, I would hope that we would get people who cared enough about something, to get in there and make themselves heard and fight for it. Make some noise about it and really get in there and fight for it.
Queen Liliuokalani was our last reigning Hawaiian monarch. To me, she's a hero because she refused to take up arms against the United States when they illegally took over her country. She refused to put her citizens in danger. I think that for me, she represents perseverance. Nancy Bannock, she's known as a real passionate historic preservationist. Bidi Kanahele Dawson is also a preservationist. She kept fighting for her people. I'm really drawn to the stories of strong women. I had finished a documentary about Queen Liliuokalani and her family home, Washington Place. And I wanted to do another broadcast documentary about somebody who was Chinese from Hawaii, a woman. I really wanted to feature a woman who was Chinese from Hawaii. And at the top of my head, I could not think of somebody who had a larger-than-life story to tell that could carry a feature documentary. And I felt like that was number one big problem. Why can't I think about this? I've grown up with strong Asian women all my life. Why doesn't one pop into my head. Way back in the 1940s, this one woman made an impact on a media industry that's still dominated by men. It took me 2 years to find Li Ling-ai, and then it took me another 8 years to bring her story into the film Finding KUKAN. Li Ling-ai co-produced an Academy Award-winning film back in 1941, and the film was called KUKAN. I was so shocked, like, first of all, how come I never heard of this woman, Li Ling-ai, and she's from Hawaii and she's Chinese? And why haven't I heard of this film, KUKAN? I was obsessed at finding information about this film and about her life. She didn't have children, and one of the things that I realized, women's stories get carried forward a lot of times by their children.
You cannot change the world by a big idea, but you can change it one by one. And I'm going to change it one by one because the other side will be Chinese.
When I witnessed the impact of KUKAN on these scholars in China, I realized that the importance of this film was not that it won the Academy Award. It was that it had captured a moment in history that otherwise would have been lost.
They watched the agonies of the blazing city, their city, where their homes are now rubble and ruin, where the small possessions of their simple lives are ashes.
As a filmmaker, I'm more of a conduit for a story, that somehow a story finds me and it needs to come out, and it's using me as a filmmaker, as a vehicle to get told to the world in a new way, perhaps. I'm just kind of channeling it. Yeah, so this whole windward side is my kupa-aina, as they call it. That's your, like, you're rooted in that place. If you're a kupa of an area, aina is land, so, you know, like the land that where you're rooted from.